Okay, this is the third part of problem 1. This is on page 191. Again, I'm going to reiterate this. If I asked you to show that this figure on page 190 was a non-square rectangle, you would pick one method and go with it. The fact that we're doing it 3 different ways is not normal, and it's just really to get you practice using the different formulas. So the last method says show that the quadrilateral has 4 right angles and that the diagonals are not perpendicular, right? Because again, remember, only 3 shapes have diagonals that are perpendicular. That is a square, a rhombus, and a kite. So if we show that it has 4 right angles, that means it's not necessarily a rhombus, and it's definitely not a kite. It would put it in the square or rectangle category. And then that the diagonals are not perpendicular says that it's not a square. All right, so back here, to show that it's got 4 right angles, we have to show that the 4 sides, that the pairs of sides, again, let me put this picture in here. We have to show that these 2 form a right angle, these 2 form a right angle, these 2 form a right angle, and these 2 form a right angle. And in order to do that, we need the slope of all 4 sides, and we need to show that each of these pairs of adjacent sides have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. Well, if you remember, we did that when we did the first part of this. Let me find that page where we did it. Yeah, we did all our work here, and we showed that in each case, AD right here and BC right here had slopes that were -1/4, and that this pair right here both had slopes +4. So using this information and not repeating it again, if this were a fresh problem and you were starting right from the beginning, you would have to do all this work. But we're going to take advantage of the fact that we did this already to say that the slopes are what they are. So we're going to say that the slope of AD equals the slope of BC equals 1/4, and that the slope of AB equals the slope of CD, which equals 4. Sorry, and this is not 1/4, it's -1/4. Okay, so then that means that AB and AD, which are adjacent sides, they form that angle at A. These have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. All right, opposite meaning one's positive, one's negative, and reciprocals meaning that one is the flip of the other. BC and CD are the top and the right sides. They have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. CD and AD right here are adjacent. They form the angle at D. They have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. And AD right here and AB, I think I said that one already. Anyway, all 4 pairs are opposite reciprocals, therefore they're all right angles. All right, and show that the diagonals are not perpendicular. We have not done that yet, so we do need to do that. And again, perpendicular talks about slope, so what we have to show is that the diagonals are not opposite reciprocals, because again, perpendicular comes from opposite reciprocals. So let's find the slope of BD and the slope of AC, and we're going to show that they are not opposite reciprocals. So the slope of BD is, let's see, B was, our y-coordinate there is -3 minus the y-coordinate of D is -4. The x-coordinate of B is -4, and the x-coordinate of D is 7. So here we get 1 over -11. The slope of AC, let's see here, the y-coordinate of A is -1, and the y-coordinate of C is 0, and the x-coordinate of A is -5, and the x-coordinate of C is 8. So we get -1 over, this ends up giving us -8. Sorry, again, it's late, -13. So this is positive 1/13. These are opposite signs. This one's negative and this one's positive, but they are not reciprocals. All right, this would have to be 11/1 to be the reciprocal of that. All right, so BD and AC are not perpendicular. Oops, AC and BD are not perpendicular. All right, so let's write our summary and be done with this very long problem here. Okay, so we are going to say that to prove ABCD is a non-square rectangle, we showed first that it is a rectangle by proving all 4 angles are right. We did this by showing AB is perpendicular to BC. This was slopes of 4 and negative 1/4. BC is perpendicular to CD, slopes of negative 1/4 at 4. CD is perpendicular to AD. Yep, that was again slopes of 4 and negative 1/4. And then AD is perpendicular to AB, slopes of negative 1/4 and 4. We then proved it was not a rectangle, or it was not a square, by showing diagonals were not perpendicular. AC is not perpendicular to BD. Slopes negative 1/11 and 1/13. Okay. You can look in the answer key. Again, I was doing this kind of just off the top of my head. What's in the answer key looks a little bit different, but would also be acceptable. So if you're looking for something that's maybe not quite as wordy, check those out for an alternative method of kind of providing that summary. Okay, thank you. Bye.